So who else remembers Charlie Baby Boy Haggers from the primetime soap, Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman? I hope I'm not the only one. Hi everybody, Steve here at Valley Oaks Memorial Park in Westlake Village, California, and I'm standing here at the gravesite of actor Graham Jarvis, who played Charlie Baby Boy Haggers on that really funny 1970s TV sitcom and nighttime soap opera, Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Now, I was a big fan of that show when it was on in the late 1970s. I think it was 1976 to 1977. It was just on a season or two, but it had around 350 or more episodes, since I believe it was on like 5 nights a week, like a normal daytime soap would be. I was a huge fan of all of the characters. I think probably my favorite character was Loretta Haggers, who was played by actress Mary Kay Place. Her husband, Charlie, or Baby Boy Haggers, was much older than she was. And I was just surprised to learn while doing a little bit of research for this visit to the cemetery today that I had actually seen Graham Jarvis in person and had completely forgotten about it. You might remember that a few months ago, I did a vlog about my 21st birthday and where I spent that night. I celebrated my 21st birthday at the Roxy Theater on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, seeing the Rocky Horror Show. Well, it turns out, and I had completely forgotten this, that Graham Jarvis was on stage that night as the narrator of the show. Is that weird or what? So not only was he in one of my favorite TV shows, but he was also in one of my all-time favorite musical stage productions, The Rocky Horror Show. And straight ahead here is the entrance to the cemetery, the Russell Road entrance. And when you come in, that's my card there. When you come in, this is the Gethsemane section. Boy, that's a tongue twister, isn't it? And I just walked straight up here to his gravesite, which is right there. Jarvis died in Pacific Palisades, California from multiple myeloma on April 16, 2003 at the age of 72. During his career, he appeared in dozens of movies and TV shows, but he's probably best remembered for the 2 TV shows, Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman, and then later for his role on Seventh Heaven as Charles Jackson, the father of Annie Jackson Camden. He appeared on that TV series from 1996 until the time of his death in 2003. His epitaph reads, "Husband and father, friend and actor, beloved by all." Mary Hartman was an over-the-top spoof of daytime soaps and was set in Ferndale, Ohio. TV Guide ranked it one of the top cult TV shows of all time, and the episode where Coach Leroy Fetters drowns in a bowl of Mary's chicken soup was considered by TV Guide to be one of the 100 greatest moments in TV history. The show was so different and so outrageous that it took America by storm back in 1976 and became one of the cultural events of the year. Actor Philip Bruns, who played Mary's father, George Shumway, died in Los Angeles on February 8, 2012 at the age of 80 and is laid to rest at New Woodlawn Cemetery in Pipestone, Minnesota. Mary's mom, Martha Shumway, was played by Dody Goodman. Goodman died in Englewood, New Jersey at the age of 93 on June 22, 2008. Her Find a Grave memorial page currently says that she's laid to rest at Randolph Cemetery in Randolph, New York, but I recently received a comment from Mary Beaumarriage, who tried to visit her grave there but wasn't able to find it. So she spoke to someone in the office who said she's not buried there. Mary said she found another site online that says Goodman is buried at Brookside Cemetery in Englewood, New Jersey, but she hasn't been there yet, so just a heads up before you try to visit yourself. So if any of you have actually visited Dody Goodman's gravesite in person and can verify which cemetery she's laid to rest in, please let us know in the comment section down below. Mary's sister, Kathy Shumway, was played by actress Debralee Scott. According to her Wikipedia page, she died at the young age of 52 from cirrhosis of the liver in Amelia Island, Florida on April 5, 2005. She was cremated and has no final resting place to visit at this time. Actor Victor Killian played Grandpa Raymond Larkin, who also happened to be the Fernwood Flasher. Among the cast members, his death was probably the most shocking and tragic. On March 11, 1979, at the age of 88, he was killed in his West Hollywood apartment by burglars, and his death still remains an unsolved mystery to this day. He was cremated and his ashes were scattered here in the Rose Garden at Westwood Village Memorial Park, along with many other famous celebrities. I'm happy to say that a number of the main cast members are still alive. Mary Kay Place, who played Mary Hartman's neighbor and good friend, Loretta Haggers, is now 73 years old. During her very active and successful screen career, she's appeared in hundreds of movies and TV show episodes and is still acting today. In 2020, she was a regular cast member on the TV show 911 Lone Star, and her latest movie coming out this year in 2021 is called Music. Claudia Lamb, who played Mary Hartman's daughter Heather, is now 57 years old. As an adult, she became a well-known radio reporter and journalist. Greg Mullavy, who played Mary's husband, Tom Hartman, is now 81 years old. The star of the show, Mary Hartman, was played by Louise Lasser. She's also now 81 years old. Some of you might also remember that she was married to director Woody Allen from 1966 to 1970. And she also appeared in a number of his early movies, including Take the Money and Run, Bananas, and Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Sex but Were Afraid to Ask. And in case you haven't already watched some of my earlier visits to the cemetery, Valley Oaks Memorial Park is also where singer Karen Carpenter is laid to rest. It's been a few years since I was here to visit her private family mausoleum, and it's nice to be back for another visit. When I was here the first time, I didn't realize how many other famous people are laid to rest here, and a few of them were buried here after my first visit. For those of you who have asked me which one of my cemetery trips has been my favorite, I have to say I've enjoyed every one of them, but my favorite here in California was my visit to Karen Carpenter's final resting place. It was the trip I most wanted to make, and it was one of my very first trips to the cemetery after I started this channel. And I guess I'm not alone because it ended up being one of my most popular videos. This week I want to give a shout out and a very big thank you to my newest Patreon supporter, Lee Boatwright, and to Michael Bodden, who recently and very generously increased his donation. Thanks so much, Lee and Michael, for your very generous donations, which really do help make trips like this possible. If you enjoyed today's Blast to the Past, I hope you'll join me in another one by clicking and watching this video here. Until next time, thanks for sharing the memories, everybody.